Hi, welcome back to my garden. And what an auspicious day it is too. The 250th video in this series. In truth, I've made more than 250. There's the chess videos, there's ones about art, but following this sort of format, a rambling, quasi-philosophical chat in the garden, well, 250. And I'm quite proud of that, I'll be honest. Not that I'm making any claims that these are marvellous videos, or that making 250 of them is some kind of remarkable feat of endurance. I make one a week, the years have rolled by, I've sort of stuck by it. There's not a lot of time spent in preparation. There's no time spent in editing. I just upload them and that's it. So I suppose I do play through them once just to check that I haven't said anything that might get me in trouble with the law. But other than that, I suppose it's about 45 minutes from start to finish, the whole process. Once a week. It's not too much to ask. But that is the way of a lot of astonishing achievements. I'm not saying this is an astonishing achievement, but literally astonishing achievements. They're simply carved out over time, pebble by pebble, brick by brick. Well, I suppose you wouldn't carve pebbles or bricks, but you know what I mean, piece by piece. And eventually, if you stick with it long enough, you have a body of work. There was someone I read about once who started posting photos on the internet, and he posted millions, and that really is a body of work. And I suppose afterwards, when you look at it, the sum total will reveal all sorts of fascinating things. You can't just take it one photo at a time. And I've spoken before on this channel about the Harvey Keitel movie. Harvey Keitel stars in it. Smoke. I think it's a Martin Scorsese movie, actually, but I may be wrong. Maybe it's one of those where you have 4 directors. At any rate, Harvey Keitel has a tobacco shop on a street corner in some big city in America, possibly New York. And every morning he gets up and takes a photo of the same corner diagonally opposite his. And he does it every day and posts it in an album. And well, you do that 365 days a year, and you're going to accumulate a lot of photos, and it will be interesting in the sort of subtle shifts and changes. So there's a lot to be said, and indeed I've said probably more than I need to in the past about this. The extraordinary life might be doing something bold and brilliant, or it might just be doing something fairly ordinary, but sticking with it consistently, whether that's every day or every week, but over time it will all add up. And in fact, I suspect whoever you are, if you look at some things that you sort of downplay, accomplishments in your life, or things that you do, perhaps a job, and you actually were to see a sort of fast forward through the whole process that got you where you are, and all the subtle shifts and changes, well, that would be remarkable. But we don't see that. We see the near past, and we compare to other people. And that comparison, we sort of lose ourselves a little bit. We miss the big picture of what we actually have constructed. So 250 videos, I'm quite proud of that. And I have no idea what's in there, if I'm being truly honest. And that's going to bring me on to something in a moment. But I threatened a couple of years ago to catalogue my films. Well, of course I didn't. You know me, perhaps you don't, but if you do, I say a lot of things, and whether they actually get done is quite another matter. And that one certainly didn't. I couldn't be bothered, frankly. They're there. You know, people every now and then find them. And, you know, have I made a big dent on the internet? No. One video peaked at over 11,000 views. Although how long people actually watched it, I'm not sure. I haven't dug into the analytics. But that's just one. For the most part, recently I had a little political reference, and boom, clickbait. And hundreds of people watched that one. But building up a massive viewership, a large number of subscribers, is something that requires a purposeful, intentional effort. And again, over time, it will happen. I don't have a doubt about that. If I bothered to take the time out to find out, well, actually I've got a rough idea because I've seen videos about it. But if I put into place the suggestions of luminaries such as Ali Abdaal, multi-million viewed, subscribed YouTube thought guru, and I only partly say that sarcastically. I mean, it's true. He's very successful. British GP turned American YouTube millionaire. And fair enough. And he's sort of laid out blueprints of how you go about doing this. As have many other very reliable, convincing sources. So I have no doubt that I could do that if, I suppose, it grabbed me or if I was duly motivated. I'm not sure I am. But I do think that it would be interesting to actually catalogue what I've been doing. And to a degree, I'm inspired by my lovely wife in what I'm going to suggest I perhaps could do. And again, whether I do it or not is another matter. But my lovely wife, Rita, she follows a sort of spiritual, slightly esoteric path. She watches a series of lectures by this Brazilian chap in her area. I suppose, well, a broad title, it's Seichi no Ye, which is a sort of non-denominational mix of Spiritism and Buddhism and kind of new thought type of thing. And so she watches these videos and she's been transcribing them quite diligently. Lectures, a series of lectures. And she says that she gets an enormous amount out of that. And I don't doubt it, actually. I mean, the mere fact that you're writing down the words, having to play a sentence again and again, thinking about it, and then reading what you've written, just poring over it, it's very monk-like, quite literally. You know, monks transcribing the Bible back in the day, pre-Gutenberg. They must have got something out of that. They must have thought about the words far more than someone who, in our age of comfort and convenience, simply picks up the Bible on the bedside stand in their motel and idly flips through it, as they do in the movies. That's quite a different matter. So that's what my wife has been doing, and I've been thinking, well, what would happen if I started transcribing my little videos? You can get subtitles. I wouldn't necessarily need to write down literally every word, although perhaps in the interests of the exercise that would be necessary. I don't know how long it would take. I suppose a 15-minute video, given the fact that I stare into space occasionally and break into mini pauses. Is it 125 words a minute? So a 15-minute video, maybe it's 1,500, 2,000 words. Has it be an interesting exercise? Or perhaps I could just listen to them and take notes in a sort of student type of way, writing down every word diligently that their lecturer says. Even the sentence, you don't need to write down every word. Well, that gets written down too by a Labrador-like newbie at a university. So the stereotype goes. But it would be an interesting exercise. Certainly a starting point would be to simply write down the titles and a few details, or perhaps turn them into 250, dare I say it, Zettelkasten type cards, entries, or summary cards, bibliographic notes, something like that, and see what I've got. When I started the project, the whole idea was to write a book. And indeed, I have an outline and about 8,000 words. And if I undertook this rather daunting task of cataloguing the 250 videos, well, I'm sure I'd get a few more for that book that is yet to be completed. Nowhere near being completed, if I'm truly honest. But I do have a feeling that if I've made the commitment, and for me it's, as I say, a relatively easy commitment, and heaven knows it's something I like doing, just blabbering away to myself or to the universe like I am right now. If I've made that commitment, maybe it's time to take it seriously. Perhaps in amongst these 250 videos, there's some interesting stuff. Who knows? Watch this space, as they say. I guess that's it. I'm going to say it again. I'm quite proud of this accomplishment, that I've stuck to it. And I look at my sculpture and I'm quite proud of that, because although this last year has been a little bitty, a little all over the place, I've still been getting stuff done. There's still been events, big events, and my little ripple, well, I'm only 10 years into it. And it's this, the old S-curve, where you make these committed, steady increments that will compound exponentially. And I think in the things that I've undertaken, I'm nowhere near even the asymptotic point, or point of inflection rather. Apologies for the little maths faux pas. If you look at the curve, the point where the improvements and development start slowing down and steadily flatten out towards some sort of oblique asymptote. Well, I'm nowhere near there. In any of the things that I'm doing, I've been doing them for at most a decade, and 57 and 3/4, whatever it is. I have plenty of time ahead of me. So let's see what happens. I think it's going to be interesting, and I hope you stay with me for the journey. Well, that's it, and as always, I trust your lives are filled with joy, and if you feel energetic, you can pop down a little comment. I like those. Anyway, that's it. Ciao from a sunny Brazil.